Raw 10/6/25. Your amplified review begins right now. This, the Amped Up Show. I, your host, B, motherfucking C, the Amplified Man. Raw kicks off with the same old exhausting opening, with no pyro, no pulse, no energy, no passion. Tessitore says, "Welcome everyone to the American Airlines Arena here in Dallas, where it should be a fun night." No, Tess. A fun night would be eating some strawberry shortcakes off of Mickey James's MILF mufflers. Being stuck in a hot tub between Natty and her sister Jenny. That's fun. Watching a pro wrestling show completely deprived of care and effort, creatively bankrupt and going through the motions. Nah, doesn't sound like a fun night to BC. But let's see what we got on this show, shall we? Roman Reigns kicks it off. That's right, Netflix has been furious with Monday Night Raw. Netflix furious with WWE, and more specifically, Hunter Hearst Helmsley, Paul Levesque McMahon. So they said, no, we want some star power. Roman Reigns is not waiting till War Games in November. We want Roman back now. We want him doing things now. Because if you think that a 2.3 global rating is acceptable with a 1.1 domestic US, and you thought we paid you billions for that, if you thought you were robbing us, think again. WWE, that's what Netflix told them. That's why you're seeing Roman show up all of a sudden, having this matchup with Bronson Reed. Roman Reigns has to travel all the way to Australia. So Roman Reigns is out there to try to kick off a matchup with Bronson Reed. There he is. It's Roman Reigns, the tribal chief. Middle of the ring. All he says is, Dallas, acknowledge him. This brings out Paul Heyman and Bronson Reed to the top of the ramp. Heyman lays down a challenge for Crown Jewel. Bronson Reed versus Roman Reigns in an Australian street fight. Ha ha! You know BC is about to rip apart this concept, but give me a minute. Let me finish off this segment, and then we're going to go back to this Australian street fight. Roman accepts, and then they brawl, right? This is what Helmsley has always in his back pocket. They brawl! You have nothing of substance, so just have them brawl. That'll sell the matchup. Just brawl. And hopefully everybody will forget that we already saw them twice in the past several months. Roman Reigns has already defeated Bronson Reed. It was a tag match at SummerSlam. And then, one-on-one, Clash in Paris. Roman Reigns defeats Bronson Reed. Are we supposed to forget about that? So now what WWE is expecting, let's put on our thinking caps here, right? And you don't even got to think too hard on this. If you're just waking up, you're like, BC, I don't want to think about this right now, man. You ain't even gotta. It doesn't involve any Steiner math, no rocket science. Don't worry. But just try to comprehend the bare minimum of logic that WWE is trying to thrust your way. They want you to pay triple the amount, right? A lot of individuals, anyway, are now paying triple the amount to get ESPN Unlimited to watch these PLEs. And by the way, a lot of people saying it is difficult to even get ESPN Unlimited. They're having a lot of issues with it. So you got to work your ass off just to pay them triple. But imagine paying this company triple for matches like this, which you've already seen before. That's like going to the movie theater and you pay, I don't know, $12 for a ticket to watch a movie. And you like the movie. So you go back home and you tell the old lady, hey, you gotta come with me to watch this movie. It's pretty good. She's like, okay. So you go back to the theater the next day. You got your $24, right? $12 ticket for you, $12 for the old lady. You got $24, a little extra too for some popcorn, maybe some of those little slushies that they have at the movie theater. Yeah, the ices. So you got your $24, but the person taking the tickets goes, well, that's going to be $72. $72. I'm sorry, you mean 24. It's 12 a person, right? No. We tripled the price overnight. So now it's $36 a person. So there's twos of yous. There's going to be a $72 price tag. Whoa, hold up. I'm not paying $72 to watch the same movie. And the guy taking the tickets goes, no, don't. Well, it's not the same movie, actually. We took some scenes out. Actually. There's been about 4 scenes that were cut. And you're thinking, wait, I'm paying you triple the price and you took scenes out of the movie? Well, yeah, because, the movie was, we didn't want it to be too good. We wanted it to be a different experience for you. So we figured we'd give you less, right? Give you a little less so it's not the same experience. But I'm paying more. Wouldn't you give me more? No. We're going to charge you more, but we're going to give you less, right? You go to the supermarket, you get your favorite ice cream, Haagen-Dazs coffee chip ice cream. Of course that's your favorite. There's nothing in the same category. Haagen-Dazs coffee chip. Okay, you pay your $6. The next day, you go back to the supermarket with your $6 because you want some more Haagen-Dazs coffee chip ice cream. And you see that it's an $18 price tag. $18 for the ice cream you just spent $6 for yesterday. In fact, now there's a new label on it. 25% less chocolate coffee chips. 25% less chips for 3 times the amount. You buy the NFL package, right? The NFL Red Zone. Now you get to see every football game, every single football game on Sunday. But you notice something. They hiked the prices up. They tripled the price tag, and you're getting last week's games. You're going, wait a second. I just paid 3 times the amount. I'm getting all of last week's NFL football games. And you call up and you're pissed off, and they go, yeah, it's the new thing that we have going. We're going to give you the week previous. We're going to give you those games. So you are going to be 7 days behind, but you will be getting the new games next Sunday. How's that sound? But we still need to charge you triple. I can keep going on and on and on. No business can possibly run that way if the consumer goes, hold on, this doesn't make sense. This is not good for us, the consumer. You're charging us more and giving us less. Now, you may laugh at some of these examples, but that's the equivalent. They have charged so many, triple now, and they're giving you Roman Reigns versus Bronson Reed. That's just a rematch of a rematch. Who needs to wake up at 8 o'clock in the morning to watch a match we've already seen back when we were paying $9.99 for it? Now you pay $30, you get up at 8 a.m., and you watch what is supposed to be a street fight. That's what they're telling us. An Australian street fight. Well, that's gonna be a humdinger of a time! A street fight? Now you piqued my curiosity, because what could an Australian street fight be? What are they going to use in an Australian street fight? This could be amazing! Toothbrushes? Car wheel tires? What could it be? A stripper's high heel? It could be anything. An Australian street... What could it... Oh, wait a second. A WWE street fight means they're just going to be in the ring. There is no streets involved. So there's just going to be kendo sticks and trash can lids and tables, because the crowd's going to go, we want tables for 35 years. That's what you hear. We want tables. A thin piece of wood. For some reason, there's this fascination with wrestling fans and somebody going through a thin piece of wood. They want to see somebody go through a thin piece of wood. We want so you'll have tables in this street fight. There'll be some ladders, maybe. Some ladders. Now, I want you guys to think back on all the street fights you guys used to get in back in the day, right? Maybe you're still getting into street fights. Who knows? Life is wild. Think back of all your street fights. How many times did you just go, time out, let me go get my kendo stick? How many times? Oh, yeah, because that's what BC was doing in all my street fights. I was like, oh, man, I can't wait to whip out the kendo stick. Can't wait to get the tables, man. BC, get the tables! That's right. In all my street fights. That's what I did. When you're in the schoolyard and you're having the fight at recess. Hold on, let me go get the trash can lid. Let me go get a toolbox. How are these street fights? You know what these are? These are called no DQ matchups, or at least they should be. No holds barred. I'm cool with that. Which, by the way, same thing. No holds barred, no DQ, no count out. It's all the same. They give it a cute little name. But the street fights is out of control. If you're not going to be in the street, don't call it that. Because all they're doing is they're adding the town that they're in. Don't you see that? How many times in the past couple, 2-3 years are you seeing a Philly street fight? A Chicago street fight? A NYC street fight? And now it's an Australian street fight. They all have one thing in common. There's no streets involved, and they're usually it's just a no DQ matchup. No DQ, no count out. We'll use some kendo sticks, some trash cans, and we'll call it a day. And Australian, they just came up with the country that they're in. That's all they did. They're like, hey, Australian street fight. And if you go, well, how is that different from the Philly street fight we saw recently? WWE? They'll go, well, it's not. But we called it Australian this time. Because, get it? They're in Australia. It is retarded. That's what it is. It is beyond stupid. It is foolish. Roman Reigns, you want the amplified. You're going to get the amplified truth a lot in this review. You're just going to Maxine Dupree. Oh, you're going to get the amplified truth on that. CM Punk and LA Knight and the Usos, a bunch of faces involved with one another last hour. You're going to get the amplified truth. Believe that. Crown Jewel and the atrocity that it is. And Tessa Torre saying that the crowd, the fans wanted AJ and Cena for one of Cena's last. No, nobody wanted that. We're going to get amplified. But the very first big topic we're going to get amplified right now, Roman Reigns is destroyed. Is it the point of no return for Roman Reigns? Hopefully not. Roman Reigns, if you're being honest with yourself, Roman Reigns doesn't feel anywhere near what he used to feel like. There was a time where he was being built special and he was feeling that way. He turned heel. He got the new theme song. He started pacing himself much slower, going with the theme music. The linking up with Paul Heyman was perfect, and that advice, literally a wise man even behind the scenes. Vince McMahon and Paul Heyman drew up the Bloodline story. They were the originators, and they crushed it. And then, whether we like it or not, him going away for a while and coming back, going away, it kept him special. But a lot of that is because he was always coming back to something. Whether I liked it or not, that's a different cup of coffee. But he was always coming back to something that was big. Now he goes away for a little bit, comes back, so he's already running that thin. But now when he comes back, he is coming back to some jobbers. And they're jobbers because that's how they're still booked. They were booked that way when they began. They still are. Bronson Reed and even Braun Breaker. Because 1 week Breaker will look badass and maybe win a match, maybe a mid-card title. And the next week, not only is he getting his ass whooped, he's running away from the faces. Bronson Reed still loses left and right. It's 50-50 booking, so they haven't even been built up correctly yet. Bronson Reed is nowhere near a main eventer yet. We don't even know if he's ever going to feel that way, hopefully. But he's not even built up. And Roman Reigns keeps coming back to do that? To have bunch of matches all year with Bronson Reed. This will be the third. First was a tag match at SummerSlam. Second was Clash in Paris. Now they're going to Australia and Crown Jewel. A whole year of Bronson Reed and Roman. The problem is, Bronson Reed is a mid-carder. Are you trying to use Roman Reigns to catapult Bronson Reed when he's nowhere near that spot yet? Because what you're doing is damaging Roman Reigns in the process. Oh, and what else is Roman doing, if you're asking? They have Roman trying to recreate the Bloodline story from years ago. The one that Vince McMahon and Paul Heyman created. Now Paul Levesque McMahon is feeling the heat, feeling the pressure from Netflix, feeling the pressure from his own streaming service, ESPN, giving the last PLE a C. And that was being generous. Fans, even the ones that blew smoke up Helmsley's ass every single Monday, Friday, and PLE, even they were starting to go, dude, this product sucks. These shows are horrible. They're garbage. Helmsley was feeling it, that pressure. And he knows he's got to create storylines. So what does he do? He tries to read not just the Bloodline story, the exact story! The exact story! He's having the Usos. He's driving a wedge between the Usos. Man, it feels like I saw that 5 times before in the original Bloodline story. Oh, wait! We did! So the Usos have been split up for the longest of time. Last month, they kind of, quote, get back together, just for Roman to split them up yet again. No! Don't be shocked if this is not fun for a lot of the audience. Most of the audience. Because we're not stupid! We don't forget what happened just a couple, 2-3 years ago. We've seen this! This exact storyline with these exact scenes! Now Roman is thinking Jey Uso could be the one to lead the group. And Jimmy's like, man, don't put that in his head. He's not like you, Us. And Roman has some tension with Jimmy now, because Jimmy's getting in the way of My goodness! We know that Helmsley doesn't have any creative juice in him. Creatively bankrupt would be an understatement. But to redo Vince McMahon and Paul Heyman's work? Really? Man! Levesque needs to be DOS booted from that position yesterday. The day he was put into that position, he should have been taken out immediately. Roman Reigns is done. Roman Reigns doesn't even feel special. And if you need any more proof, by the way, I always tell you guys this, right? This channel, what BC is saying is not just opinion. It's not just a hot take. Right? You can go back to the show itself, and every word that I am saying, it'll be backed up by the actual show itself. For instance, go back to that segment. After this whole little stupid brawl between Bronson and Roman, listen to the crowd. Roman's up there giving his... they would be electric right now, right? Whoa, it's Roman! He just brawled with Bronson. He's up on the top rope doing his one. No, fans were like, yeah. A little golf clap, maybe. Yeah, hey, Jerry! Jerry, throw up your ones! That wasn't electric at all. The only thing worse than that, seeing how just a fall from grace from Roman Reigns. Or to Roman Reigns, thanks to Paul Levesque McMahon not being able to book. It's mightily different, right? When Roman has Vincent Kennedy booking for him. And Paul Levesque McMahon, it's night and day difference. Look at the two booking. The only thing worse than that, more sad than that, was watching CM Punk, LA Knight, and the Usos, man. 4 faces. A couple of them supposed to be 2 of the biggest in the company. CM Punk and LA Knight. And the other one, Helmsley is trying to make the biggest in the company. Jey Uso just didn't work. Clearly, as ratings go more backwards as he's the champion. They take the belt off him, still try to keep him in a prominent spot. Ratings are going backwards. You have top faces, and the crowd literally fell asleep. We're going to get to that in just a few minutes. But with Roman Reigns, man, this was the appetizer to how sad that was with LA Knight, CM Punk, and Usos. I couldn't believe how there was just no feeling connected to what Roman was doing. That's probably the first time. Even if I didn't like what Roman was doing, I had harsh critiques for it. I knew Roman still felt special. And because Roman's involved, something will be special from it. This was the first time that and I've been saying, it's been starting to feel like this. This was the first time where Roman, there was no connection to it. There was no feeling to it. There was no emotion attached to it. And when it was all said and done, I literally don't care at all what Roman is doing. Like Roman and Bronson yet again, and just slapping the words Australian street fight to get up at 8 a.m. to watch that match. You could put that on a Monday Night Raw. I could easily skip it and go back to it later or watch the highlights, if I even needed to do that. You could put it on a house show, because most fans are not going to care about this. They have actively, whether consciously or subconsciously, they destroyed Roman Reigns. And we just hope that he can get that mojo back, because this is sad. We move on. Let's get to the first matchup of the night, because you thought I was amplified there. We're going to get more. Let me get some coffee, because I'm going to get amplified. Maxine Dupri and Becky Lynch. And we're just going to rip the Band-Aid off. That's what we're going to do with Maxine Dupri. Maxine is just not a professional wrestler. That's just a fact. And that's okay. She can still have an amazing career in professional wrestling, but she doesn't have that it factor, that natural ability to be a professional wrestler. And it just feels like for years we've been stringing her along like she's some type of charity case. Go, Maxine, you got it. You can do it, Maxine. And you turn to your buddy and you go, wow, she's improving. I feel like she's getting better. She's starting to get the hang of it. You know she's putting in the work, right? She's working so hard, this Maxine. When did WWE become the training wheels promotion? When do we put training wheels on pro wrestlers and parade them out there live on a Raw and a SmackDown? Why is Maxine Dupri not working at being a pro wrestler if that's really what she wants and what WWE hopes for her? Why is she not in NXT having matches? And not even that. They have the ID program with all these schools. Put Maxine in one of them. Maxine needs that if there's any chance for her to succeed. Because what they're doing now, I hope you know what they're doing. They're having her heavily rehearsed with who she's working with. For instance, her and Becky, they've been working the whole week at that match. The whole week. This is what they used to do with Ronda. And then they took the training wheels off because they're like, this is taking up too much time and it's not fair to the rest of the talent. So Ronda had to finally get this wrestling thing. The problem was Ronda never got the wrestling thing. To this day, if you listen to a Ronda Rousey interview, she talks about how one of the biggest complaints she has about WWE is they didn't give her enough time. She wanted more time to rehearse matches. You don't get that, dude! You're a pro wrestler or you're not. You're not always going to get 7 days or 21 days to rehearse something like you got at WrestleMania for your debut. I think it was Rousey and Angle versus Stephanie and Hunter Hearst Helmsley. And that match was damn near perfection because it was so heavily rehearsed. Maxine Dupri. Every one of Maxine's matches, so heavily rehearsed, multiple days. You're not always going to get that. You can't have that. You get this wrestling thing or you don't. That's not an opinion. It's not a hot take. It's a fact. Again, she can hopefully and will have an incredibly successful career in pro wrestling. A valet, manager, a GM, a ref, commentary, interviewer, backstage role. Who knows what she's going to be really good at? But hopefully it is one of those things. She's just not a wrestler! She's unorthodox. Her timing is off. Her mannerisms are cringe. The fact that every match has to be heavily rehearsed for days is not good. The fact that every single time she wrestles, we have to say 1,000,000 times during her match, wow, she's gotten better. She's getting better. Even if she's not, doesn't even matter. You rehearse something 1,000 times, yeah, hopefully it comes out. I mean, did you see the match? She threw a drop kick that landed at the knees of Becky Lynch. I'm not joking. I know so many of you don't even watch the show because it's gotten so bad, so you just listen to BC's podcast. You listen to BC's review. You say, BC, thank you, dude, for saving me a couple hours. You're welcome. You're absolutely welcome. But believe me when I tell you, if you didn't catch this show, if you didn't see this match, Maxine threw a drop kick that landed at the knees of Becky Lynch. Wade Barrett even had to say, well, didn't hit the mark she wanted, but it was a mark. Wade Barrett was making fun of it. And trust me, they were having an orgasm the entire matchup. The commentary team had to have an orgasm this entire matchup just to make her feel special. Commentary screamed the entire match as if we were watching Stone Cold Steve Austin, Hulk Hogan, The Undertaker. Commentary was more amplified for that match than any match last night. So for Wade to even have to make fun of that spot, that tells you something, man. You can't throw a drop kick past the knees. Let's just tell the truth. We have to hold her hand and treat her like a charity. We shouldn't be watching our wrestlers as if they're a charity case. Put her in the ID program with one of these schools and have her actually learn. And when you find out that it's not working, at least there's no harm, no foul on live TV. She's not even in NXT. There is immaculate wrestlers right now in NXT. Kalani Jordan would run laps and would love that spot. Why does Kalani not have that? Jordan Grace is ready for that spot. Why doesn't Jordan have it? Lola Vice would have that. Sol Ruka is just learning this pro wrestling thing and can run miles around Maxine. Jada Parker. Why do they have to sit in NXT Purgatory getting 500,000 viewers a week? Maxine Dupree! We're treating her like a charity. Hey, Maxine is getting better, guys. I feel she's getting better. She's really getting the moves down. Have you seen the match? It is cringe. It's unorthodox. I don't even know if she's athletic. I want to think that she did like maybe cheerleading or was a soccer player or volleyball in high school. I don't know. I'm hoping there's some semblance of athlete, but I'm not seeing any semblance of athlete in Maxine. It is very hard to watch a Maxine match. It's not good, and it's a charity case. I remember it was about a year or two ago, tops. Maxine was at a house show. She was going to the back, and a fan yelled, "You suck, Maxine, don't come back." That was it. That's all the fans said. You could hear it in the video. You suck, Maxine, don't come back. That's it. That's all they said. It was heckling. Maxine made it a big thing. This is what I get for working hard, and this is the trying to get better, and they said I suck. Don't come back. And you remember some of the locker room, right? Because we have to treat Maxine like a charity case. So Rhea Ripley always takes a chance. When she gets a chance to throw shade or throw jabs at fans, Rhea Ripley loves that. Rhea Ripley cannot stand fans. So Rhea Ripley jumped in quickly. This is horrible. They should be ashamed of themselves. Yes, because you can no longer pay 10 times the amount you used to pay for a ticket to show up and tell one of the wrestlers they suck. Kurt Angle was told he sucks. He turned it into a multi-million-dollar deal, man. They turned it into a theme song. You suck. You suck. Rocky Maivia was told he sucks. He turned into The Rock and made millions. In 2025, you get told you suck and you cry about it, and the locker room has to come to your defense. So what? What am I supposed to do? Am I supposed to, in this review, go along with the rest of the community and go, wow, Maxine match was amplified. The crowd was rooting her on. The crowd was so into it. They're like, come on, Maxine! The commentary was going out of their minds. Maxine! Maxine! I never thought Maxine would have one of the best matches of the year. Wade Barrett called her a banger in the match. That's right, she was having a banger. Everybody was faking this enthusiasm, this facade. And there's BC doing his notes thinking, okay, let's look at what is happening here. Becky Lynch is having a match with Maxine Dupree. That already has a bunch of botches, even though it's been heavily rehearsed. And if you're wondering, yep, you guessed it, Maxine Dupree defeats Becky Lynch. It was via countout, I believe. But they had Maxine not just have this matchup with Becky, and Becky was on her heels the entire matchup to Maxine, because that's believable, but then they had Becky Lynch be defeated. The champion, by the way, just counted out like nothing. And this is somebody, Becky Lynch, who's been in the ring with some of the best the last 10 years, right? From the Sasha Bankses to the Charlie Flairs, the Baileys, even some of the bit older ones, AJ Lee and Nikki Bella. Nikki Bella, there's a good name, right? Because that's along the same lines. That's a good comparison. Nikki Bella is somebody who came into WWE with just a pretty face, right? And her twin sister with an equally pretty face. But Nikki Bella said, I want to become a pro wrestler and I want to be good at it. I want to put on good wrestling matches. I want to do some special work. So Nikki Bella trained her ass off, busted her ass. Nikki Bella actually improved and got better by each week, by each match. Nikki Bella had some athletic capability within her. She had a little bit of that it factor. She knew when to take that time out, play to the crowd. Her mannerisms were more on point. Nikki Bella is somebody that legit took the opportunity with the hard work she put in and created something special. We never looked at Nikki Bella like a charity case. You can do it, Nikki! She's getting better, I feel, man. Nikki's getting better. You know, she's putting into work. You know, we just gotta stick with it here. We can do this, Nikki. Hey, Vince, keep putting Nikki out there every Monday live on Raw, right? She's gonna get this. Because that's not what Raw SmackDown... These wrestlers shouldn't be charity cases. This is the main roster, Raw and Smack. This isn't where you learn to do pro wrestling. This isn't where you make pretend you're a pro wrestler. Not even having matches in NXT. Main roster, beating their champion, and what does it lead to? Are we seriously clamoring for more Maxine matches? Is that what today's live audience is seriously clamoring for? Is that where we're at right now? And you wonder why ratings are tanking in the toilet? They have to bring back CM Punk for Australia. They have to bring back Roman Reigns to try to bring the rating back up a little. Try to get back to a 2.4, 2.5, maybe a 2.6. Maxine matches. Oh, man, we have to see Maxine and Becky again. This is an honest review channel. There's no way I could honestly give you cookie cutter BS. Oh, the Maxine match was good, man. Crowd into it. Commentary was electric. Maxine was just totally amplified. I just said on this channel last week, Andrade is going to need a lot more than just pro wrestling matches, right? He's a great pro wrestler, actual moveset wise, right? Can give you the bangers. Meltzer can give him a bunch of stars. That's not what's holding Andrade back, or what's making the company that he works for giving them a better rating. It's not the fact that Andrade's not a good wrestler or doesn't put on great wrestling matches. Of course he does, and of course he is. Charisma, personality, layers to his character and storylines that will put us at the edge of our seat. Andrade is going to have to tap into a lot. If I'm going to be that honest, brutally honest about Andrade, who's a really good pro wrestler, If I'm going to be that honest about Andrade, what do you think I'm going to say about Maxine? This is Raw. We need wrestling to be great again. These shows have to be better. No, I am not treating any wrestler like a charity case. You're improving. You're getting better. Really? I'll make that assumption. I'll come to that conclusion when you're not rehearsed over a 7-day period. And you can get a drop kick over somebody's knees. And your mannerisms and your cadences are where they should be. Where you're not running around the ring unorthodox. Like you're running around the ring with 12 hot sauce chicken wings up your ass. Never seen anyone run around a ring like that. No, absolutely not. This is not a charity case. So no, on this review, it's blunt honesty, amplified truth. Maxine Dupree having these type of matches goes where? Are they gonna put a championship on Maxine? Are you serious? And I know when that happens. Oh, I can see it happening. I don't know if it's Becky's, but I can see it happening. And do you know what's going to happen when Maxine hoists up a title? The live crowd in attendance is going to start going, you ready? You deserve it! You deserve it! That's right. Maxine deserves it. Why? Because she worked hard. Because nobody in NXT is working hard. No, Jada Parker, Kalani, Lola. No, they ain't working hard. They're in NXT purgatory. They had to work their way up to the rings. And Maxine, man, she's been rehearsing though, BC. She's been rehearsing, BC. She's rehearsing, man. Maxine Dupree, I'm so proud of her. No, not a wrestler. Not a pro wrestler. I see nothing that says pro wrestler in Maxine. I don't even see anything that says athlete. Next up, we got Lyra Valkyria. We stick with the ladies most part of hour one. I have no issue with that. Obviously, some of the best parts of these shows are actually the women's roster, if utilized correctly, and that's where the issue usually lies, right? Hunter Hearst Helmsley doesn't know how to book any of these ladies, and that's the case with this next matchup. Lyra versus Roxy. We just saw this September 15th, in case you're wondering. I know you're thinking, BC, I feel like I just saw this match. You did, within the last month. That was September 15th. Val defeated Roxy. So no, you are absolutely correct. This is what Helmsley does. It's just, he just repeats matchups nonstop. Because there's no creativity. So as long as you just brawl or fight or wrestle nonstop, that's the storyline. He hopes that you look at that as a storyline. But you see, they're out there every week fighting each other. That's a story. They don't like each other, basically. No, that's not a storyline at all. Roxy this time hits Pop Rocks for the pin. So Roxy gets a pin over Val. On September 15th, Val got a pin over Roxy. So, oh yay! Can we have a rubber match now? Woo! Let's get another match! Val and Roxy. Again, I wouldn't mind this if there was story attached, if I cared about it. There's no reason. I don't know why Judgment Day and Val have any issue right now, or any issue of relevance. And then post-match, Annoying Bayley, that's what I'm calling this character, Annoying Bayley, because that's what she is. She doesn't know what she's doing. She doesn't know what she is. I think that it was supposed to be was multiple personality Bayley. It doesn't work because Bayley doesn't play it off right, because she doesn't know how to. I told you guys that. And much love to Bayley. I told you guys from the jump, this feels off. And I told you guys that I don't think this is going to... I know this is not going to work. Bayley's not the person for this. You can't just play that crazy character off. It's not as simple as it may seem. Alexa Bliss could do that with the Wyatts. Mickie James could do that, especially in that storyline with Trish Stratus. Some individuals are just natural at that, right? And Nikki Cross can play that, obviously. Bayley trying to play this, man, it is so off. Nothing about Bayley screams that this could even work in the future. It's sad, but Annoying Bayley is basically pulling Lyra to the back, screaming, "We have business! Come on! Come on! We have business!" Lyra just looks like... How they're booking Kairi Sane and Lyra are just like abused little hostage victims. I don't even know what they're being pulled, and they're all scared and timid. I'm like, what grown adult, what are you doing with Lyra? You booked her for months supposedly as a badass, and now she's being pulled by the ear of Bayley, and she's like, "Oh no, Bayley, please, please, Bayley, please." They're doing the same thing with Kairi and Asuka. I don't mind that, but you can't do it twice. Bayley is shoving Lyra to the mat, and Lyra's like, "Oh my god, Bayley, stop, please. Why did you shove me?" Bayley smacks Lyra across the face. "Bayley, why did you smack me? Please stop." Lyra is getting her ear dragged by Bayley to the back. "Bayley, why are you doing this?" What the heck? Lyra just a few weeks ago was going, "I don't want nothing to do with you. Stay away from me. You understand me, Bayley?" Now all of a sudden, Lyra is like Bayley's kid. And she's acting up, so Bayley is smacking her around, and the kid is all scared. "No, please don't hit me again, Ma." Annoying Bayley. I remember a few weeks ago, everyone's like, "Oh man, this is going to be the best Bayley ever." Yeah, how's that working out? CM Punk, LA Knight, and Jey Uso, and eventually Jim Uso would come down as well. This was a promo to start hour number 2. Ends in some weird physicality. And Punk and Knight dropped by the Usos. How did this go? Jey Uso super kicked LA Knight. And then CM Punk ended up dropping Jey Uso with a right hand. And then Jimmy Uso super kicked CM Punk. So I hope you kept up with all that. So all the faces are basically taking each other out. The Usos are standing tall when it's said and done. LA Knight, CM Punk are down and out. So, and the crowd doesn't know what to do. Half are just staring on, and the other half is yeeting because Jey Uso's music starts up, right? Yeeterman's music starts playing, so the confused crowd, some of them, maybe even half, just start waving their arms up because they're like, "Oh, guys, the music is playing. I think this is what we do." Right? You could see, like, and the other half of the audience is like, "I don't know if I feel right about that." I mean, CM Punk and LA Knight just got laid out. These are two of the top faces. We're supposed to, like, cheer for them, right? we chanted Punk's name. We went, "Yeah," with LA Knight. And now we're just dancing because they got beat up? The crowd didn't know what to do. And again, the kids and the parents that don't know a lot about her, you could see them flapping their, like, "Yeah, we're eating! Did you see the Usos take out the bad guys?" And the kids are like, no, Mom, Dad, those are good guys, LA Knight and Punk, but we don't care because we're dancing, we're eating. Splitting your audience is what this is. They took 4 faces, 2 of them top, and if you're asking Helmsley, 3, if you want to add in Yeeterman. He's not a main event guy, he's just not. He's tag team mid-card Jey Uso, but that's another story. But let's appease Helmsley, all right? Let's say 3 top stars. And you add in a mid-Jim, and that's how you use them. Instead of building up diabolical badass heels for your faces to have storylines with, Helmsley just has all of his faces fight with one another. Split your audience, destroy character momentum, and confuse your audience. Levesque McMahon is definitely the WOT. The worst of all time when it comes to creative. The WOT. Worst of all time when it comes to booking. Creative and booking. Yes. Paul Levesque McMahon, Hunter Hearst Helmsley is the WOT. He took top faces and he just had them fight each other to the point where if you watch the show, go back and watch this segment, you will see a confused audience. People they were just cheering for, they're now cheering because they got beat up, or they just don't know what to do. Yeah, that's a good job, Levesque McMahon, because there's no viable heels. There's no heels on this show. Seth Rollins would be one of the top ones, I guess, and he's going around sympathetic. people are looking at him sympathetically, right? They love to sing his song, so that makes him kind of face-ish. And then last night, he's just asking Paul, I have to win. He's doubting himself, right? What happens, Paul, if I don't win? Well, Seth, I have to ask myself why I chose you. So he's sympathetic, right? So you don't know. Is Seth... I know Seth is, quote, a bad guy with the vision, but, like, I kind of like Seth, right? That's what your audience, you're making him sympathetic. You have no Gunther. Roman Reigns is, quote, good guy. Who do you have? I don't even know. Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker, 2 mid-carders. So he takes 4 faces, and this is what you got. And you want to talk sad? I know, again, a lot of you guys don't catch these shows, man. The main event, we're going to talk about it in a couple, 2-3 minutes. The main event, the crowd was asleep, and it has to do with these 4. It was the Usos versus LA Knight and CM Punk. Think about that. And think about the crowd not giving 2 flying fucks about it. Because that's what happened. We're going to talk about it, trust me. I still can't fathom that happened, but I'm not shocked, because this is what Levesque McMahon does. Kairi Sane then defeats Io Sky with an assist from Asuka. So Kairi with a W over Io. That's pretty massive. I don't care if she has the assist from Asuka or if Hulk Hogan, Warrior, and Savage came down from the Great Yonder, right? With some backup from Mr. Perfect, the British Bulldog, the Big Boss Man. I don't care who's assisting Kairi Sane. That's a big W over Io. And post-match, the Kabukis double team Io. So they drop Io some more. And thankfully, right, because I was like, oh, here we go. This is my brutality! No Rhea Ripley. I think she's doing some promotion probably in Australia already. That's what I would assume. But no Rhea Ripley, and that is more than okay with BC. So, Kairi defeating Io. I don't mind this storyline. I told you guys, it's a decent little storyline, actually. I don't have huge complaints. The acting is way over the top. It's not a clean storyline. It's messy. But there's many reasons for that I'm not even going to get into, because with how much of lack of storytelling there is, or when they do try, I think we saw a little bit more of an attempt for storylines last night. It's just so bad. Just recreating the Roman storyline with the Bloodline. They're recreating the They're recreating the Bloodline storylines. Not just the concept of the Bloodline, but actual storylines we've already seen. That's what we saw last night. And then Seth Rollins continues to doubt himself, and Paul Heyman is like, I might have to leave you if you lose to Cody. I guess we're supposed to look at LA Knight and CM Punk as a story, even though the audience is telling you, yawn. Literally, we're going to get to that main event. I'm going to give you their reaction. And then the other story is this one. And this is probably the only one that have been going on for several weeks and is decent. I mean, that's... For me to say that, that's telling you something. Is it anything special? Of course not. That's why I said, why is it starting the show last week? That's sad if that is one of your top storylines in WWE, this whole Asuka, Kairi, Io thing. And that's what it was. Last week, it started the show. And then for the rest of the show, Io was sitting backstage crying blue, completely blue from that mist. This is where it should be. Right in the middle of the show. It's a good middle of the show storyline. So I don't have... Hey, we got some good news. Not very much complaint here. And again, no Rhea Ripley. I'm more than happy with that. AJ Styles, Penta, and How to Train Your Dragon Ball Z Lee defeat the Judgment Day. Styles hits Styles Clash on Mikkel Dugelberger for the W. Rusev chases off Mysterio, Dominic. So you have a heel chasing off another heel. Yes, it was as stupid as it sounds. That's Levesque Booking 101. Bringing out Rusev. Again, confusing your audience, because if you look when Rusev came down, at first fans were like, oh, yeah. And then they were like, oh, wait, it's Rusev. It's Rusev. He's a bad guy, right? We don't like his ways. So then it went for just nothingness. And then Rusev is chasing off Dominic Mysterio, who fans love to boo or cheer. Dominic Mysterio is a natural born heel. I tell you guys that all the time. You look at him. He's that grimy character, right? That's how he presents himself. He knows what he's doing, and he plays it off beautifully. The little creepy mustache, all of that. Scrawny, right? He plays the scrawny little asshole, right? Of course, it's easy to not like the dude. Of course, he's a natural born heel. So then you have a diabolical badass heel, natural born heel Rusev. Let's have him chase off the other naturally born heel. That makes sense. Levesque booking 101. It is stupid. And they chase each other off. The faces win the match, and then after the match, AJ Styles gets on a microphone, and AJ Styles says, and I quote, "This match at Crown Jewel between John Cena and I, it doesn't need a storyline." That's right, he actually said that. It doesn't need a story to it. It will kick ass. End quote. AJ Styles got on a live mic because they've been hearing it through... Everybody has been bashing this match concept. One of the last John Cena matches, I think he's only got a couple 2-3 left, right? This one, December, maybe one more, maybe 3 tops. I don't even know, but it's only a couple left. And they're wasting it on weird matches that have no story to it, like Brock Lesnar. And now AJ Styles out of nowhere. They've booked AJ Styles in complete irrelevancy. AJ Styles has not been a factor at all. The only memorable thing I remember AJ doing all year was he was dressed up as a janitor with a mop. And I think he was trying to screw with Dominic Mysterio. I think that was maybe a couple months ago, tops. That was it. And AJ Styles gets on a live mic, and his response to all the critics, which by the way is industry professionals, not just people outside the walls of WWE. Everybody is bashing this because this is not how John Cena's last year should have went. So he gets on a live mic and he says it doesn't need a story. It's going to kick ass, all right? So there you go. That's what Paul Levesque McMahon told AJ Styles to say. This is another FU moment from Helmsley to the fans. Remember when Hunter Hearst Helmsley looked at his own fans that were going, Helmsley, we want to support. We have been supporting, but this product is getting bad, man. Can you fix it? And he looked at his own audience. And Hunter Hearst Helmsley, Paul Levesque McMahon told them to fuck off. He said, you're not even real fans if you don't like what you're watching. This is one of those moments where the fans were heavily critiquing this concept. And Helmsley had AJ Styles grab a mic live on Raw and say, we don't need a story, so there. We're going to kick ass anyway. That was his response. Paul Levesque McMahon told all of you, you don't need a story. Just accept it. How bad is that, man? This dude does not understand. He's not getting it. That's the problem with Helmsley. He thinks his shit don't stink. He thinks he is literally above everybody. Hunter Hearst Helmsley thinks he is better than everybody. He knows he's richer than most. He thinks he's smarter than most. Helmsley is sitting pretty with his mansion, and he's got Stephanie right there. Thinks she's got the keys to the kingdom. Definitely has his balls in her purse. And the McMahon Helmsleys, the Helmsley McMahons, they're sitting pretty. And when fans are just like, hey, man, this is our product and we love it. Can you just make it better? He tells you no. You don't need He had AJ Styles on a live mic say you don't need a story between us. Just watch the match. Oh, and by the way, Tessa Torre. You know what they told Tess to say right after that? Tessa Torre says, and I quote, the WWE Universe wanted it, and now they're getting it. AJ versus Cena, wow. Had the balls to say, and I know this was from Levesque McMahon, the WWE Universe wanted it, so they're getting it. Now, I follow this stuff vividly, have for decades. I don't remember one time any demand, any ask, any request, any semblance of wanting AJ Styles versus John Cena for one of Cena's literal last matches. I didn't hear anything about it. There was nothing about it. And of course, we found out WWE tried to manufacture this online with their social accounts, and they tried to make it look like there was a demand with Styles and Cena. They literally manufactured this out of nowhere. They had Styles say something, and then a few fans were kind of like, yeah, that would be cool, huh? You and Cena, if you could have done it one more time. And all of a sudden, WWE really tried to make something. It never got off the ground. That's why most of you never heard a thing about it. That's why BC never came across it. We never talked about it. Never gained traction. Never was the WWE, quote, universe beckoning for a Cena-Styles match for Cena's last matches. Stop. And by the way, isn't it wild we're still calling it WWE Universe? Imagine that, right? The apple doesn't fall far from the tree. Helmsley still has everybody calling it WWE Universe. Tessitore makes that known 800 times every Monday night. And by the way, after Tessitore said the WWE Universe wanted it, now they're getting it, Wade Barrett says, and I quote, "It's gonna be a banger." Everything to Wade Barrett is a banger. Dude, you're not cool. Stop using the word banger 800 times every single Monday night. Stop. As many times as Tessitore says WWE Universe, Wade Barrett says every single match is a banger. He said Maxine Dupree's match was a banger. Cena and Styles will be a banger. When Sheamus comes back, he's gonna put on bangers. Lyra and Roxy put on a banger. Banger, banger, banger. That's Wade Barrett. Stop. You're not cool, dude. Main event, Usos versus LA Knight and CM Punk. Faces versus faces. Crowd was completely dead for this. Crowd was... They pounded NyQuil right beforehand, or they just watched Raw. I guess that's all you need, right? You can save yourself the money. The best way to fall asleep. We used to joke about this, but it's true. You ever put on the TV and you fall asleep? Monday Night Raw. Put on Monday Night Raw, and you will probably get a good night's sleep, or you'll have some nightmares. Maybe it's a bad night. Either way, put on WWE television. You'll be sleeping in no time. This is not a harsh critique, or we're not just being negative, and I don't even care if that's the narrative anyway. Damn right we are, for justified reasons. But if you guys go back and watch this match, every word I'm about to say, 1,000,000,000% factual. The crowd did not care about this match. They didn't know who or what to cheer for, so they were confused. And when you confuse the audience, Jeff Jarrett says it all the time, as does BC. The old adage in pro wrestling, when you confuse them, you lose them. When you confuse them, you lose them. The audience was more than confused, and they were just tired from the show. And they didn't care about the main event. Usos versus LA Knight and CM Punk. What is this doing? They couldn't even muster up, "This is awesome." They say that 12 times a match. Doesn't even have to be awesome. You could be 60 seconds in a match, they're going to scream it. They didn't even bother saying that once in this matchup. They sat down for the majority of it on their thumbs. Again, naps. You saw some Snuggies. Some tea was being made. I don't know who was sneaking in Keurigs, but you had some coffee and tea being made. Right? People in neighboring seats were offering honey and tea bags, and everybody was just snuggling in as they watched this tag match. The opposite of excitement, right? How pathetic, man. And this is all on Helmsley. I actually felt bad for CM Punk. There was times in this match he was trying to hype the crowd up when he was on the outside, like you do in a tag team. CM Punk shouldn't have to do that. That should have been organic if he's being booked correctly. And he's trying, and nobody's making a peep. Nobody's making a sound. At the same time, Jay's trying to get him to do the yeet. Nobody cares. LA Knight. We talk about butchering Roman Reigns. Finally, that was the final nail in that coffin. Well, LA Knight's been just botched beyond repair. It's pathetic, and it's all on Helmsley, man. Punk hits his GTS on Jay Yeaterman. LA Knight tags himself in, and makes the cover off of the GTS with CM Punk looking on. So LA Knight's like, I got one up on you, right? This is going to be one of those one-upsmanship storylines. I put that in quotes, by the way, air quotes, storylines. LA Knight and CM Punk, they're trying to one-up one another. Can we please do this for 6 months? This will be amazing. Let's get LA Knight, CM Punk at WrestleMania with nothing on the line, nobody cares, face versus face, split your audience. Maybe we can yell, this is awesome. Guys, nobody cared. The audience was sleeping. LA Knight picks up the W. Am I supposed to throw a parade because LA Knight got a W? I don't know what we're doing with any of this. Jey Uso took the L. More than okay with that. He's a mid-carder. Jey Uso taking an L like that, simplistic L, one GTS. Right, the way they've been booking Jey Uso like he's Superman. Knocking people out with spears, choking them out at WrestleMania main event. Choking people out like Gunther with his own move in 8 seconds. Kicking out of 4, 5, 6 finishers. Last night, one GTS. A pause before the break as LA Knight tagged himself in, and Jey Uso was still looking up at the lights. More than okay with that. He's a mid-carder. That's what he should be doing. But I don't know what LA Knight... And it ended. The show ended like that. Crowd, silent. CM Punk looking at LA Knight like, man, you took my victory. And LA Knight's looking at CM Punk like, I got one on you, CM. And CM's like, you did, LA. And LA's like, I know, CM. And BC's like, stop. There's the credit. Paul Levesque McMahon's name. He wants you to know this was all his idea. We know. That's not something to be proud of. You might want to take the name off of it. And that was Monday Night Raw, 10/6/2025. Your amplified review. That's as honest as you're going to get in this community, guys. Because I know. People are exhausted from the product in these shows. So they're desperately trying to find things that are positive and try to expand them. But you can't let the company off the hook, man. You can't. You have to be honest. There's a lot of people in this community trying to make a buck, and because business is bad, their business is bad. Their numbers are tanking in this community. You see it. It's sad to see. A lot of them, this is how they make their bucks. So when the business is bad, their business is bad. So they have to try to be more positive because that's where the money's going to flow in. But you still have to be truthful. You take a show like this and there's so much that is just wrong with it. And I'm supposed to cut a review and what? Flip out about Maxine Dupree? A match that was been rehearsed for 7 days and she skipped the line, didn't have to have these matches in NXT, didn't go through any wrestling school that's in the ID program, nothing. She's learning in the middle of that ring. For what reason, nobody knows. And we're all supposed to treat it like a charity case. Faces are all facing each other because there's no heels. Nobody sees the problem with that. Nobody wants to talk about that. There's no heels on the show. Seth Rollins is playing around backstage staring at a watch for 3 weeks. Staring at a watch for 3 weeks! Wondering if Paul Heyman's going to leave him. Kairi Sane is wondering if Asuka's going to hit her again. She slapped her last night. And Io Sky is crying every single day because, oh my God, my friends are mad. And Lyra is hoping that Bayley doesn't hurt her. She's grabbing her by her ear. Everybody just running around backstage with their tail tucked between their legs. What is going on? All the faces in there with one another? Because you have no heat. That's an issue. What you're doing is you're devaluing your faces. So not only do you have no heels that you're building up, you're destroying the faces that you have. You're going to be stuck with nothing after this, man. CM Punk, LA Knight, Roman Reigns, all on the same show last night. None of them felt special. The crowd told you that. And that's the live crowd. They're the ones that are paying 10 times the amount from just 3 years ago, and they're showing up just to participate. They just want to dance and sing and yeet. They told you that. You didn't even need BC to tell you that. Rusev is chasing off Dominic. Heels are chasing off heels. This show is so bad. This company has so many issues, and we have to be honest about it. And that is going to do it for your Raw 10/6/25 Amplified review. Big thanks for stopping by the channel. To my Amplified unit subscribers, thank you for the support. Something as very simple as smashing the up. If you did take a moment to smash that subscription button, big thank you. And especially my Amplified unit channel members. From my gold team to the diamond unit to my gold standard VIP coffee club. Much appreciation. You guys are the reason we keep doing this, no matter how bad these shows are, how bad the product is. When you see the channel member list, man, you're like, damn, that's right. We're all in this for the same common goal. Try to make this great again, man. We know it can be. We know it should be. We gotta get it there. So I always say it when you guys say, BC, I didn't watch the show. Thanks for saving me a couple of... There are so many times... I don't want to watch the show. But you guys, man, it's that level of support. That reminds me, you know what? No, we sticking with it. We're going to rock this. So until next time, and there will be that next time. BC in the unit, we're saying check you. Salute!